Go back. All right, so on number 1 here, we're doing the same thing. We're going to set up an augmented matrix, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm looking. My first number is a 2 that's going to go in there, right? But we know we want it to be a what? A 1. So to save us a little room here, is it okay if we go ahead and switch these two equations, the order of them? So when we go to do our matrix, I'm going to put this second equation up at the top. And the second equation, I'm at the first equation as the second one. And so we've already got that first step done. Because remember, our first step was to make sure there's a 1 as that first element in the first row, first column.
What's the difference in this one and the first one?
Just the type of solutions we might get. Otherwise, it's exactly the same with just a little more practice. All right, and then remember, we want zeros below it. So how do I make that 2 into a 0? It needs to be combined with a -2, right? So remember, you do -2, row 1 plus row 2, and we're going to put that in row 2. And if we want to make that 3 into a 0, we need to combine it with a -3. So -3 times row 1 plus row 3, and we're going to put that back in row 3. I probably don't need to spread out quite as much. I'm going to run out of room. Okay, and then we're going to work it out. So 2 times 1 plus 2 is 0. Going across, -2 times -3 minus 4 is 2. -2 times 1 plus 1. And -2 times 5 plus 3. Then the last row, -3 times 1 plus 3. -3 times -3 plus the -7. -3 times 1 plus 2. And -3 times 5 plus 12. And then remember we need a 1 right there. So I'm going to multiply everything there by 1/2. Because you use the reciprocal. And I'm not actually going to work out like have a work matrix like I did on the previous one because we're just multiplying by 1/2. I think we can do that without it. So the first row is going to stay the same. My third row is going to stay the same, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. And then I'm just going to take each one of these numbers in the second row and multiply them by 1/2. So 0 times 1/2 is 2 times 1/2 is -1 times 1/2. -1 times 1/2. And -7 times 1/2. -7/2. Alright, then remember we want a 0 right here. So what do I need to combine the 2 with to make it a 0? -2. And we're in column 2, so we're going to multiply times row 2 because that's where our 1 is in that column. Plus row 3. And put it in row 3. And work these out. Yeah, there's no number now in that. The last space we're supposed to make a 1, right? And remember, the way we make a 1 is to divide. We can't divide by 0, can we? So what it ends up is this last part here tells me that 0, remember that bar is like an equal to, so 0 equals 4. Is that true? So what was it before when we were solving systems and it was false, or if it wasn't true? No solution. No, we got an answer. It wasn't for nothing. We got an answer. It's just not a number answer like you like to get. So we got our solution, which is no solution.